This random parent called me out of nowhere this morning before 9 a.m. So here I am, right? Just, it's the start of the day, and I was waiting the impending 9 a.m. time when, you know, my emails, my phone, everything's going on. Like every notification you can imagine. And this mom calls me, and she's pissed, you guys. So I was like, I don't know this woman. I just want to clarify this. This is what I'm saying when I tell you guys that things just be happening, and then things just be happening. Anyway, so she calls me, and it turns out she's a parent of one of the kids of one of these companies that's been reaching out to me to book me in to help to whatever for work, right? Anyway, thank God she called me. So she called. I see a phone number that I don't know calling. I'm like, I was literally gonna ignore it, but then I was like, let me just answer the phone. I don't know, something within me. And she is talking about, hi, is this so and so? Like, I'm pulling my daughter out of school. And I was like, huh? Right? She's like, I'm pulling her out of school. I need to set something up for her because she needs an education. And now the reason I've now realized that she was calling me at the time that she did. Sorry, guys. I have a busy day. So I'm going to have to talk to you right now while I'm quickly going to do a couple of things as early as humanly possible before I get ready for the day and then obviously have work, etc. But anyway, so I'm thinking, huh? And the fact that she had called at the time she called is partially why I answered, because I was thinking this is before working hours, so this is odd. Obviously I was awake. And turns out, so she's telling me, and she's fuming. She's just decided to pull her kid out of school. It's like, I've told the school, I'm pulling my daughter out, I'm pulling her out of school. She's done there. And I was just like, I already love this, right? I already love the situation because you guys know how I feel about school. I don't understand why not all parents are pulling their kids out of school. But so that's why I don't like teaching. Okay, there's many reasons. Anyway, she starts, and this is, by the way, I want everybody to understand before I get any further into the story, that this stuff like this happens all the time. And so when people are like, oh, it's so nice having teachers, we appreciate them, like, you actually don't. Because this is like, imagine I was in a school, right? I'll be having this type of conversation like multiple times a day. It's kind of emotionally draining, but it's worth it. But no one really cares, right? So she's telling me that she can't keep her daughter there. Her daughter's just had another panic attack. They moved entirely because her ex is abusive. He bit off her lip. Her daughter's been having panic attacks. All this stuff, right? And she's also beating herself up, like, because she was angry. So when she called me, she was in the midst of her anger, still, and also still at the school, which I thought was kind of funny, because she was like, sorry, I got distracted, because I saw whatever she saw. Because she was still on location, so it's like she had that moment where she's like, nah, enough is enough. This needs to happen now. My daughter can't stay here at the start of the school day, right? And I was just like, well. So she was like, oh, I've been put into contact with you to such and such. So the company, here's the story, right? The company itself was reaching out to a lot of people, teachers in particular, because as I told you guys, this is happening. This is why it's not funny, but it's a little bit funny, right? They are basically, so many kids are coming out from school for reasons like the one I just said. They're not doing well enough, and to keep up, there's no provisions within the school. So now there's this thing that the government's created called alternative provisions. What does that mean? Well, that means that you can, like, they'll hire somebody like me to teach people one-on-one or in small groups who can't currently learn in school, right? And so all these companies that are contacting me are all funded by the government. So yes, this is where the taxpayer money is going, which is kind of insane, because last night when I went out on a walk, right, I saw this poster and it was like 1 million. It was talking about how there's been 1 million taken away from the budget of so many schools. Search this website to see if it's your school or whatever, or if it's one of the schools you know. And last year, the government in this country put 50 million towards what, you might ask? Languages. Not the basic subjects, languages. So it's all very ironic. So before we get back into what happened next with me and this lady, right? This company's been contacting me since like last year, since like November. And I've actually been ignoring their messages for a couple of weeks. Like their emails, their messages, because I'm just ticked off. I'm like, I don't want to work for this system. I don't really care. Like, I just don't care. You people are redirecting the funds somewhere. And I'd actually put them on blast, because I said to them, maybe in last month, I don't know, I was like, I've been talking to you guys for a couple of months now. Nothing has materialized. You keep asking me questions about like if I'm available, if I want to do this, if I want to do that, and like putting pressure on me to like do things, but you guys aren't even doing your end of the stick, right? Because remember, in this situation, there's three main parties in terms of the teaching element. That is the government, who has the taxpayers' money. The middleman companies, which are showing up all over the place, and then the teacher. So I decided last year, I was like, screw this. You all need me more than I need you. So make me an offer that I think is worthwhile. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore you. So that's why I've been ignoring everybody. And I get literal WhatsApp messages to my phone of companies. This is what I'm saying. When this woman called me, thinking, how do you even have my phone number? This is what I mean when I say that society has become so invasive. Like, how do you have my phone number to call me before working hours, right? Anyway, and so I was like, screw this. I'm not doing any of this. I'm not participating. This is your fault. You people this is you people's fault, problem. This is not my problem, right? Anyway, so I was kind of aware of this girl's situation a little bit, but it was one of those where, and again, surely this shouldn't be legal. They're sending me the entire files of kids, like, as if to be like, we need you to start tomorrow. Here's the files. Here's this. So I've read so many kids' files of jobs I'm not even doing. I'm not even signed a contract for. Which I have a problem with that as well. Because in these files I get, right, they're called EHCPs, right? Which are basically like, it's an acronym. Something where it basically tells you like about the child, about their life, their lifestyle, what their parents think, what the psychiatrist thinks, what the school says, all in like one document. So it tells you a lot of information about these kids, right? I've read a lot of EHCPs in the last. This is where a lot of my, that's what I'm saying, is really ironic, because this is where a lot of my annoyance comes from. So I'm loosely aware of this situation. And anywho, shock frigging horror, the people who are in control of this, between the school, between the company, between everybody, they sent me 2 phone numbers for this woman, neither of which are the one she called me on. And so she even said on the phone, I said, by the way, is this like, this isn't the number that I was sent for you, like, because while we were on the phone, I went to check the details I was sent, and I was like, by the way, this isn't, it's really windy, I'm sorry guys, it's really windy. It's nice, because yesterday was so hot, and I was like, oh my gosh, winter's over. I was so depressed yesterday. Oh my gosh, okay, come back. I was like, is this your phone number? Because this is like a different number. It's really windy, guys. I'm sorry. It's not even the worst of it. Okay, hold on. This isn't the phone number I was like given. Yes, I was given before. And bearing in mind, my problem with these situations is that the kids need, the amount of work these kids need to do, they need like double the already normal school time they have in my subjects. So all these months going by where there's situations happening, no one's taking that into account enough in the adults, right? And that's what ticks me off, because I'm like, you then are going to judge, they're going to then go sit some exams, get some grades, they're going to be judged on, it's really sad how it goes for a lot of people when it comes to getting their results for their exams, because everybody makes it seem like your life is going to end if you don't do well in your education, right? And so anyway, I'm talking to her. She's called, so I'm like, okay, this is a different phone number. And this company as well has been hounding me about this girl, right? And the funny thing is, I know why, because obviously, let's be real, they only get paid if I'm doing my job. So they need people like me, particularly maths and science. It's all quite funny. So I felt really bad for her anyways. And I was telling her, like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, don't beat yourself up, because she was really beating herself up. She's like, I'm trying to do everything that I did. I feel bad for bringing her away from her friends and her previous school. But, like, they were, like, watching her experiencing domestic violence. It's really hard to hear. And, like, this is the stuff that I deal with all the time. Because this is what I say to you guys about my job all the time, that, like, it's not just walking into a classroom and teaching a subject. It's like you're in the middle of this child's life, and this child has stuff going on in their life, and sometimes the stuff going on in their life is affecting them a lot. So she was like, I had to pull my daughter out because she had a panic attack. I was worried. I'm worried, like, I can't imagine, like, one day potentially waking up and she doesn't wake up that day because she's, like, taking her own life. And I really respect that she actually could see that was the reality, like, as an adult, because a lot of adults like to make it out like, oh, kids are they're all just upset about nothing, And you guys know I personally wanted to take my own life since I was like 7. So to talk to a woman who was talking about her daughter that was so serious was kind of a big deal to me, because I was like, whoa. And she was just like, I just wanted to make sure, like, I just need to, so in the same moment, in the same breath, right, while she's still at the school, this is why I say other parents, I just don't respect you people. She's still at the school. It's before 9 a.m. in the morning, right? So it was around, I think, 8:30. So not early, but early to, like, be calling somebody you don't know. And she's there. And she's like, immediately as she's thinking, I need to move my child. My child needs something else. I have to take her out of the school. She's already, like, trying to secure that she has another option, which I fully understand. These are the moments here, guys. You know how I complain about, I hate picking up my phone. Why are there police everywhere? You know how I complain about picking up my phone? These are the moments where I'm so happy to pick up my phone, because, like, these are the things that I actually care about and makes me feel like it's worth waking up. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was already awake. I'd been awake for hours by then. But what are they building there? We're just building stuff at this point. I think they're just having fun building. I think they're just like, yeah, should just build another thing. Should I go into Greg's? I haven't been to Greg's in ages. I'm probably going to be really sad by looking at the prices. This is the problem. I don't really be going out like that, because you guys know I realistically. What do you mean? So, have we gained a fishmongers? The hell? Okay, hold on. I need to go into this store 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, you guys. I had to go in the black hair store. to get hair dye. Please, what the hell is going on, man? What the hell? It's the morning. McDonald's is still selling breakfast at the hilly. Anyway, so, and I have so many reasons why I'm so annoyed at the education system, because in the same breath that all this is happening, yeah, right, in the same breath, literally yesterday or the day before, my youngest brother, which I know I talk about my brothers a lot, I don't actually see them very much, believe it or not, but I don't know. I feel like we make things meaningful when I try to be meaningful when I see them. Anyways, my youngest brother goes on a school trip with his school, yeah? Now, you guys already know I'm already ticked off about his school situation up until this far, because do I need to go in this direction? Actually, I feel like I'm taking an L. I'll think about it. I told you guys about this already. At his previous school, they've built a school. So this woman, before I get to that, this woman's issue is that with the school, she's like, the school, she's basically shouting to me on the phone about how, the school, they're not supporting her daughter. They don't understand what she's going through. Like how her daughter was doing so well in like every subject until this was happening. I was thinking, yeah, I know this story. I've heard this story a billion times and I've seen it. I've been there. You know what I mean? So as she's telling me all this, I'm not even questioning the validity of her statements, because I'm thinking, lady, I'm so sure that you're telling the truth right now, And so she's telling me, she's like, yeah, and then and they're not really supporting her, and apparently other parents are also putting their kids out of the same school. So I was like, wow. And I felt for her, because like I said, guys, my upset with everything and everyone is not just out of nowhere. This is why I feel like things like depression and all that, yeah, which I'm not depressed, ironically, they don't come from nowhere. I feel like they come from something. Something is happening. Something is going down in your life. So she's telling me all about this, and I was just really heartbroken on her behalf. And because she's telling me how the school is basically failing her own child, and I was just like, I believe you. I believe you. I'm not one of these ignoramuses of today who's like, oh no, I'm sure that everybody's doing what they mean well, and I'm not going to say that because it's just nonsense, right? Yeah, I'm going to go there, and I'll go this way. And back to my brother, right? So his previous school he was at, secondary school, they had been in that building for about 4 years, right? He had been, or the school had been built. It was a new school, and they were all flashing about how 70% of our sixth form students, which is A-level, which is basically when you finish school at 18 in this country. You do A-levels, BTECs, there's a lot of things now. Go to Russell Group universities, so Oxford, Cambridge, the UK equivalent of a Harvard kind of moment, right? And so all the parents who are doing their very best for their children, and this is what I'm saying, my issue isn't that I feel like I hate all parents or something. My issue is that I actually hate, my hatred is with the Kingdom of Darkness and how it fails the parents who actually give a damn. You know what I mean? So my brother's gone to the school. It's supposed to be the best school in the town. Oh my gosh, that's the shop I was just about to go to. Oh, I have to go now, guys. I have to go there now. I'm so sorry. I have to go in there because I have to see what the hell is going on. I swear down, if curiosity could actually kill the cat, I would be dead. Because why am I walking into the corner store, right, out of curiosity, where there's 6 police officers clearly investigating the shop owner himself, and I'm just like, can I still, is this a, and I did, and they even asked me to check my ID, which I always have on me because everybody thinks I'm a baby. Really funny. Anyway, they were lovely. They were like, no, we're just doing our licensing check, blah 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 blah. So can't remember exactly what the police officer said, but whatever. Anyway, it's quite funny. Yeah, they were lovely in there. I always have positive experiences with the police. This is the thing, because I've had to call upon them, well, or they've been called upon me so many times in my defense. So anyway, I know, very unblockable me. My brother, yeah, back to him. So he's at this school. They decide after these kids have been at this school for like 4 years that this building, actually, it's not safe, which they decided for a whole bunch of schools in the country, right? And they tried to cover this up in the news. A whole bunch of schools in the country, they were like, these are not suitable. Not me going into the shop just out of curiosity. Well, okay, I was maybe going to go in there anyway, but anyway, we had to close a whole bunch of schools because they've not been built properly, right? And so it turns out, here's the gag of it, the architects, like the people that were actually building these schools, had actually walked out of these projects. They knew that these buildings were not good enough, and I feel for them actually. But nothing happened. They obviously built the schools. We have all this big announcement. My own brother by blood is in the school, okay? Anyway, I snuck into some of the meetings that they had for the parents after all of this, or the parents/guardians, whatever. And I was so ticked off. My brother now is in another school, which happens to be the same school I used to go to. Yeah? They went on a trip last week, starting last week until this week, on like Friday last week till Monday this week, to Spain for like 4 days. Now, I first found out about this for the first time also last week, because it just so happens, that's what I'm saying, it's just crazy how my life works. It just so happens that like when my brother was about, maybe say he's year 11 now, but when he was like maybe in year 8, I said to him, I was like, listen, you and your friends have free tutoring for life. Like, I will tutor you guys for free. Make no mistake, if you need any help, ask me. So every now and again, we do actually do lessons, which we are now. We have a weekly lesson that we do because he requested it, and I'm like, good for you. And then his friend also was like, because you guys know I did a lesson for him and his friends for chemistry. 2 of them actually. So, as in 2 lessons. There's about 5 of his friends, I think. 4 of his friends in total. And so his friend was like, I would really like to ask yours, do you think your sister would mind like doing this? And I was like, sure, of course, like not a problem. Like, I've said that I would do it for free because my brother, like, there's got to be some benefit of having a big sister that's a teacher, you know what I mean? So anyways, bless his heart, or his parents' heart, I guess, because his parents were like, his mum texted me one day, she's like, because I go through the parents as always, I'm like, well, I don't mind, but you need to like get permission from your parents, yada yada yada. And his mum, she messages me, she's like, you have to let us pay you for this, we're really grateful that you're even offering to do this for him, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, fine. So that's what I got yesterday. So yesterday, I'm also getting a text message yesterday talking about from her, he's really enjoying the lessons, they're really helpful, we're really grateful that you're like helping him out, yada yada yada. And I was just like, wow, that's really nice. So the 2 of them have gone on this geography trip. Yeah, what was it like? Something like 16 out of the 38 kids who went, or something like that, got sick, right? Now, obviously, I always hear everybody out. Unlike the world, who hears one person's side of the story and then just runs with it, which you all know I'm used to that, and hence why I understand where God is coming from, because a lot of people don't talk to God because they've only heard other people's opinions and they don't stop to actually hear what his opinion might be or what he might have to say. I was like, okay, I'm going to hear this out from all parties involved. Hold on. I'm in scenes, but he's I really need to get my skates on. I haven't got time to waste. Anyway, okay, hold on. So the school, right, is telling the parents that, oh, there was a virus, which didn't make any logical sense to me, right? I'm a scientist. What do you mean the kids all of a sudden got a virus and only through like 2/3 of the group or whatever got it? That was not adding up for me. But obviously, I then asked to my brother, I was like, what do you think really happened? Like, do you think it was a virus? And then he was describing to me like what actually happened on the day. And he was like, well, they basically had like how have I forgotten the word now? I've forgotten it again. You know the one where you like cook on like a, oh my gosh, I forgot the name. What's it called? It's the type of cooking, the one where you cook like in front of people and then everybody sits around in like a U shape and you cook the food like on right in front of them. I actually can't remember the name of it, right? Oh, that's so annoying that I can't remember the name. But anyway, so they cooked, that's how they cooked on the day, right? Before, like 24 hours before. He was like, yeah, we went to dinner. And he was telling me about how they were cooking the food and that he wasn't convinced because, and again, not to toot my own horn, but one of the things I really made sure to try and do to some degree with both of my brothers is like make sure that they know how to cook and not just like, but the basics, like really cook, because I never wanted them to be, my main reason for doing that is I never wanted them to be swindled by a woman just because she's good at cooking, right? Which a lot of men, that happens to them. But also, so they like can make themselves a square meal. Obviously, my mum taught us all to cook. Like throughout we all cook, everybody in my family knows how to cook. Okay, my dad knows how to cook. My mum knows how to cook. Like everybody knows how to cook. But I would make extra time to cook with my youngest brother. Like, and we would spend a lot of time actually cooking for like a good couple of years, because I wanted to make sure that like he can always fend for himself in life. You know, again, I'm just trying to do the best I can as a sister. And so he was like, when they were cooking the chicken, when they were cooking the bacon, I just didn't think it was cooked, so I didn't eat it. And I was like, that's interesting. That's very interesting. And I was so happy that he knew. I was like, you see, and I said to him, I was like, you see, it's good when you know how things are supposed to be done, so you can spot these kind of things. And he was like, yeah, the other kids were just kind of eating everything as if there was nothing happening, but I just didn't feel comfortable because I just didn't feel like it was cooked properly. And I think they're just telling the parents that, oh, this was a virus, because they don't want to have to deal with if they admit that it was probably the food, right? So this is another thing that ticks me off. And I mentioned my brother's friend because my brother's friend is the reason I knew my brother was even going to Barcelona, even though this trip has been planned for like over a year, apparently. So again, I'm thinking, and like even when he went, I was like, I didn't like it. Like as soon as I found out about it, which was only last week, because his friend was like, yeah, sorry, I have to change. I won't be able to do the lesson because of the Barcelona trip. I was like, the Barcelona trip? Like, what are we talking about? And then I was like, oh, I didn't know that you guys were going or anything to Barcelona. And then he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay. And then that made me panic, obviously, because I was like, what do you mean my brother's going out of the country on an airplane? Like, I don't trust the adults. Like, I was already thinking beforehand. So I'd prayed about it, and I was like, the day he left, I was crying. I was just like, in secret, obviously, because, you know. And I was crying, and I was just like, Lord, please keep him safe. Please keep him well. Bring him back in one piece. You know what I mean? Safely, yada, yada, yada. Because there's just so much stuff happening in the world at the moment. And even I don't want to be on an airplane. That's why you guys haven't seen me on one. And so, yeah, so then so that happens as well. So I'm thinking, this is the school system I'm talking about, yeah? So anyways, I said to his mom, I was like, look, don't worry, I got you. Let's set up a meeting. I'll get back to the people. Like, I'll sort this out. Like, I'll organize this, because I know the devil I'm dealing with, you know what I mean? Lo and behold, I did, by the way. within like about 15 minutes, I was able to organize our first like sessions and stuff. And I was like, because I'm trying to get away from this teaching thing, right? But to hear a mother who was in her state and was so dedicated, I was like, you know what? How can I ever say no? I can't say no to I can't say no to that. Like, and I'm sorry, honestly, on behalf of everybody, because everybody's failed you. Like, this isn't fair. And she's doing her best. And I understand that, like, her child's education, like, obviously teaching is not in everybody's wheelhouse. Nor should it be. This is like how the village is supposed to work. That's what I was thinking. It's so funny that the village just finds you, even when you're not looking for it, because that's basically what's happening to me, isn't it? I'm not like searching for all this stuff, but then it just falls onto my lap. You know what I mean? And while I'm here being deviant, telling God, like, God, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm ignoring messages, I don't care. And then just like that, and I was thinking, what, me help you out? And this is all on the on the government's bill. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, these are the ones I bought before. Let me get these. And this is all on the government's bill. Hell yeah. The heck? Why would I say no? So, and also, somebody in that state, I'm always going to help, guys. She spoke from the heart, and the way she was like, all I have is me and my daughters, and I just want to make sure that she gets through. I just want to see her have a happy life. Like, her words are literally nearly bringing me to tears. She was saying about what she's trying to do. So I was like, okay, I have to help.
This is a colleague announcement. Please come.
And I was like, I have to help.
Thank you very much.
So cute. I was like, I have to help, because what else am I going to do? Like, she's distressed. She's just trying. She's just a person that's just trying, you know? And so, yeah, anyway, I locked it all in. Obviously, the company was all like, yeah. And if you don't think I'm leveraging my hourly rate, this is the funny thing I realized. Like, God made me realize this. He was like, you know, some of the things you're doing, you're not really leveraging things the way you can, because that's when I was saying to you guys, I realized this time, like I realized last year, at the end of last year, like literally most people need me more than I need them. So why am I just taking anything from folks? People have so much more to gain from me. This is what I'm talking about, okay? What in the America, you know what? Let's not go off topic. Let's not. Why am I like just putting up with everything when my skill set is the one that everybody's looking for? So that's why even when she said what she said, I was just thinking, well, you've made the right call today. Because I would have honestly done it for free. I would have done it for free. Like a parent that disgruntled, like a mum as well. Like, I've never been a mother, although technically I have. And I was like, immediately I was like, I'm going to have to, whatever she's asking for, I'm going to have to do it, because the hell? Am I spineless? Like, obviously not. And so, yeah, I was just like, so anyway, I sorted it all out, and she was like, thank you, that's great. She was like, whatever time suits you. And it actually worked out better, because the hours that they sent me before, right? They didn't really work well for my schedule. They didn't really work well for my schedule. But then it just so happens that now she's pulled her kid out of school. So she's like, whatever time of the day works for you. I was just like, music to my ears. All right. Because I can make it work in my current working hours. It'll be worth it. And I'll be taking on her full education. And that's my thing, is I don't like to do this little side quest supplementation of an education. I need to do all of it, because it all works together. Like, all the subjects come together, all the subjects come together, like your life it's all one big picture all together. You know what I mean? Even me, who doesn't like things like English, can appreciate that it all matters altogether, you know. So I'm thinking, so even when she's asking me, I'm kind of like sidelining the whole situation as if to be like, I don't know, like. But then she was like, no, whatever it takes. I'm like, I was just like, all right. And then I also just told her, like, don't beat yourself up. Like, it's not your fault. You did the best. You're doing the best you can. That's the most important thing. Like, you're giving her everything you possibly can, and you're advocating for her. Like, there's nothing more you can literally do, and I'll just do the best I can to help you. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's really sad. Like, it's really sad. So that's how my day started before I've even started work. So yeah, that's why it's important that I make these kinds of videos. I need to let you guys, hold on actually. That's why it's important for me to make these kinds of videos for you guys, so you know, like, I'm not just making stuff up. Like, I'm not just angry for nothing. I'm not just upset for nothing. I'm in the thick of it, like, in the thick. You know what I mean? I'm watching kids every single year crying because they didn't get the grades that they wanted and they feel like their life is over. I'm talking to parents who are doing literally their very best. You know what I mean? And it's heartbreaking for me. That's the truth. It's really heartbreaking because I know that's a really good deal. That's a really good deal. I'm gonna have to get one as well. The popcorn. And I'm watching these things and I'm seeing these things and I'm like, it's breaking my heart. Like, so that's where the part where I just don't get how other people are just, particularly teachers, are just going on unbothered, thinking that they're doing anything good. If I thought I was doing something good, guys, I wouldn't even say anything. Oh my gosh, is my phone really about to die? All right, I guess I'm going. I should have known. I did leave on like 20% or something. I don't know. But like I said, it's been a busy morning and I've got lots yet to come. So anyways, I will go. But you guys get the gist. It was just a bit of a sad situation. It is a sad situation. And I really hope for both of her and her daughter's sake that we're able to figure it out. And like, especially because she just pulled her out of school today, this morning. I was like, whoa, that's bold. So as soon as I realized that, and that she was still at the school while she was calling me, I was like, damn. I'm on it. Whatever it is, I'm gonna help you out because that sucks. It's tough out here, you guys. Anyways, I'll skedaddle because my phone battery's about to die. But yeah, life's a game. Now you guys know why I really love me. Now you know why I say the things that I say, because it's real. It's not fun. It's not a joke. I don't enjoy being controversial. I just actually really be living through the things I be talking about. Anyways, God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And see you next one.